a very beautiful, sunny, and nice and rare day. Perfect day for a walk. And I am going right now to the HR department. It's nothing crazy, it's just some paperwork that I need to do for renewing my contract. Very routine, very nice. It's just, I'm so glad to have some sun in my face again. I never thought I would miss this kind of weather, but living with rain and wind and cold weather for like 10 months, 11 months, kind of makes it hard not to miss this, but here we are. The point of this video, other than sharing the beautiful weather and the vibes and the quiet and the silence of the city, is there's been something that's been on my mind for the past like 3 months. It's been bothering me for a bit. It has reached a point that I'm starting to question myself. I've started to like ask myself if all of these things that I'm doing regarding the album and regarding the show, is it really worth it? Is it like, yes, it is a bucket list I need to tick off like from my list, but still, I'll explain to you in a second. For now, I gotta go to the second floor of this building, get some paperwork sorted out, and I guess continue the walking. All right, the paperwork portion of today is finished. It's just a bunch of documents I need to send for my visa. It's not important. Let's focus on the important thing, which is now I'm going to be saying some numbers which are going to be quite not accurate, but the idea is there. Spotify is the number one music platform, like music streaming platform in the world, and chances are that they're going to remain the number one platform in terms of music and streaming and everything for the foreseeable future, unless another company suddenly comes out of left field and just reinvents the wheel. When people want to seem professional in this industry, they have to use Spotify, right? The way that Spotify works for independent artists, for people such as myself and the band, we record a song, and through a distributor we send our song to Spotify, and then Spotify hosts it for free. Spotify will not ask for money in order to host the song. What happens after is if the song gets streamed or played for a number of times, nothing happens. And the moment you reach 1,000 streams or plays, Spotify pays the entity that represents the artist or the artists themselves, if they're directly in contact with Spotify, which is super rare, a small fraction of €1. If I remember correctly, the number was somewhere between 0.006 cents or something. I'll in editing I'll put the correct number up here. And that means, let's say you're spending a very small amount of money recording and creating your song. I don't know, $100, $200, something very minimal. That means in order to make back that money with the current ratio, your song needs to be played for a few 100,000 times. Now, if you're doing the math correctly, you realize that the system is not at all in favor of the artists, save for the fact that you don't pay anything to Spotify for hosting your song. Spotify ideally should do some very light advertisement in the forms of, I believe it's every Friday, they have a playlist called the Release Spotlight or Release Radar or something of that nature, where if you're lucky you'll be put on that playlist, and maybe people can see the song in their playlist if they are listening to new songs each Friday or every Friday. Generally speaking, the system, everybody knows this, that putting your songs out there on streaming services in general, unless you're directly selling the offline version of your song to your audience. I believe Apple Music does that, I could be wrong. I think iTunes has, like, you have to pay to buy the song in order to listen to it either in full or with very, very high quality. Spotify is just that you stream. If you have Spotify Premium, whatever that's called, you can have the song downloaded on your device and you can listen to it offline. And that means that that's €7 for students or 10, 12 bucks or something like that for other people per month, that those people pay to Spotify, not to the artist, which is completely understandable because somehow they have to make money. Add to the fact that if you're not using a premium or a professional version of Spotify, every time you change the track, or if you want to skip the next song or whatever, you're gonna have some ads playing between your songs, and the artist does not make any money from those ads as well. So far nothing is in favor of the artist, other than the fact that you have your song on a service where your idols, the people that you look up to or you looked up to while making music, those songs are also there. With all of these things combined, the question that rises from all of this is why am I going all of this distance for putting an album that is going to lose us money? Now let's accept the fact that this is a problem. That means it requires a solution. What solutions do we have to combat this? There we go. Let me go a little bit further back. Let's go. So one solution would be what is known in the world of business as B2C, like direct business to customer, meaning that we create a website where people can go and buy the tracks. But the question is, for the price of setting everything up and hosting the songs online, is it justifiable to have just one album there? You could look at it as an investment. You could say, well, you're doing this and you would be adding on top of it everything from the past. But there's a problem here, and the problem is that the stuff from the past, A, are partially under different licenses, and B, they are my own stuff, and this is like a band thing. I could forego the band idea. I could just say, you know what, guys, we're just rocking out for this show, we'll see what happens in the future, which is not my intention. My intention was to include multiple minds, multiple eyes on this project to make sure that it comes out a little different. Because yes, I like the idea of a singular mind at the heart of everything, making all the decisions. It's fun, it's exhausting, but it is interesting. It's been interesting. For the past like 12, 13 years, I've more or less done something like this for my own albums. This fourth one it's a little different, and I want to make sure it is different. So I don't like the idea of website right now. Maybe we could have like a purchase option on our social media. So say, hey guys, if you want to listen to the songs and if you want to support us, yes, you can go to Spotify. You You can go to YouTube Music everywhere else and just buy a CD or buy the audio files and own them permanently. And that's a good idea, right? That's a fine idea. However, one thing that I don't know yet is what is the culture of this kind of activity right now here in France, because people are so used to having music at their fingertips on their streaming services that they probably wouldn't think that much about not having, about, for example, them playing each time a song of mine is played, I'm effectively losing money until that song reaches a certain number of plays. So far, none of the things that I've released has reached a level of revenue, which is fine. Again, this is not a matter of money. This is not about revenue. This is just a matter of doing things in the most optimum and optimal possible way. What is the best way for looking at this issue? And don't get me wrong, one of the objectives of any non-spiritual activity is financial income. Like, money is good, money is awesome. However, just because in current state money is not a priority or the priority doesn't make it unimportant. Another way for looking at this whole situation is the thing that we are actually doing, which is we're selling merch. Well, not merch as in t-shirts or mugs or bracelets, merch as in CDs. We're running a very, very limited, I believe 50 CDs that contain the fourth album, as well as a couple of extra stuff. And we're setting them there, we're setting them up at a minimum price, meaning that people can get them at a minimum of whatever, all the way up. Now, on the outside, from an outside perspective, I feel like this video is coming up very whiny and yappy, which was definitely not my intention. Oh, the camera. Was it the camera or was it me? I don't know. And so because of that, it was definitely the camera. And because of that, I feel like I'm gonna wrap it up here just by saying that all of these problems, if you can call them that, they are privileges for me, because a few years ago, and quite frankly the reason the YouTube adventure for me even began many years ago, was because I was banned, because I was outlawed as an artist in my old country. And in order to like come up with a system of therapy, I started talking to myself, which sounded to be one of the greatest ideas I've ever had. And I'm eternally grateful for all of this. For the show, we're gonna have CDs, and that's gonna be it. But partially, that's because I feel like this is an unfinished business, which is going to be something I'll be delving into more deeper in the next video, one of the next videos. This show should have happened like 7 years ago. It wasn't possible because of a ton of legal and geographical reasons that I'll get to in time. I'm just grateful that I'm hopefully going to take this one off the list and call it call this plan finished. Good or bad, we'll have to wait and see. If you're watching this video until now, thank you so much. Please, as always, consider doing the YouTube thing. And I hope wherever you are, whenever you are staying safe, you are staying sane, and I will be seeing you very soon. Peace.